My husband are married, arranged marriage, for almost 2 years and we have a 1-year-old daughter. Just found out that my husband is cheating. My husband has been married, arranged marriage, for almost 2 years and we have a 1-year-old daughter. After having my daughter, I felt like he wasn't interested in me anymore. He criticized my body for not being the same as before. It hurts me but I don't care. I asked him what's wrong. He said it's just that he's not in the mood anymore because of the stress at work. He works 12-hour shifts, and now he just wants to make money. So I thought let him approach me when he's okay with it. So last week I had an interview. I was taking a break from work for taking care of my daughter. I told him it was a great opportunity and I attended the interview and I got the job. When I told him, he wasn't supportive. He told me to wait till our baby is 3 to 4 years before start working again. The same day he came to my house and made a scene and told me all sorts of things and told me his mother is also opposing me working. I was angry and sad and I decided not to go the job only because I had to go back to his house. His dad, mom, brother, and his dad's mother is also there, and thought of my daughter. In our custom, women have to stay at their husband's house after marriage and I went to my house for going to the interview because my house is in the city. After 3 days I went to his house and I was mad at him and he was mad at me too. So we were not talking to each other. Today I went through his phone. I knew his password, because I had a bad feeling lately and there his was. First I checked his Instagram. He was messaging so many girls at the same time. He was asking about a girl he met at his shop to another girl all while flirting with her. I was shocked. Then I opened his WhatsApp and there too he was talking to call girls and video calling him. I was heartbroken. He only had issue with me here. He was showing his private to her. Then I opened his Telegram and the same thing, he is messaging to random girls all sorts of things. I was crying holding his phone. I took pictures of all the chats for future. I asked him about it and he said that he is sorry, swore on our daughter that he won't do anything again. I don't know what to do. I was never truly happy in this marriage. He always made me cry even when I was pregnant. Even if there is any small fights he wouldn't talk to me for days. Just after 2 days I had my baby, we fought about some silly matter and he stormed off the hospital and didn't talk to me for 4 months. He would come to my house to see the baby but never talked to me, not even wished on our first anniversary. Pregnancy and postpartum are the most important phase for a woman and he didn't even support me though he made me miserable. After that things were going okay. Sometimes he would show me lots of love and affection but most of the time he completely ignores me. He is always on his phone and tells me he uses it to relieve from work stress. I don't know what to do. Should I forgive him? I have been wanting to talk about the intimacy issue for 2 months in here. I was confused. Now that I seen this I don't know who else to tell. Thanks for taking your time to read this. I just wanted to vent. Comment. Take the job and get rid of him. He will cheat again. He's never loved you. He was obeying his parents' traditions. You and your child deserve so much better. He-S-A-P-O-S, I'm sure you will find someone that will truly love you and your child. It's an arranged marriage. Why you expect love? It can't be forced. Not does it just happen due to an arrangement. I know some Westerners here will tell you to leave him, get the job, get out. I also know what it is like to be a woman in a strongly patriarchal country. You might feel like you don't have a choice or a voice, but it is so important to remember that you do. The system will try to make you miserable, get you to stay home, do everything to please him while he has never even bothered to acknowledge you as a person. You will struggle but you have to. If not for yourself then for your daughter, so she doesn't eventually get stuck in the toxic cycle you are in. I won't pretend I know what you are going through, so I want and can't give you advice. What I can do though is this: if they break you down and make you cry, come back here and we'll try our hardest to make you laugh. You deserve the world, don't settle for less. This. So much of this. It will be hard. But, even if you have to go it alone, your daughter will have a strong woman to look up to. You wouldn't want your daughter to think it's okay to be treated like this, and she will unless you show her differently. In a perfect world, that is the right answer. However, to give advice and not know more about the situation is difficult. From her comment, she lives with his family and they seem to side with her husband. So can she leave and still have custody of her child? Does she have somewhere to go? Could it be dangerous for her to try to leave? I wish people had more understanding that these situations are complex and sometimes taking a minute to learn a little more could help people give better advice. You do not need to answer those questions if you do not want. I just hope you can find happiness and keep you and your daughter safe. Your husband sounds emotionally immature and abusive, so I understand why people have that initial reaction. Show his disgusting cheating to his beloved family, expose him honest, use the evidence for a divorce. This guy sounds like a narcissist and is also emotionally abusive. Time to give him the silent treatment and serve him with divorce papers. Would you really want your daughter thinking how he treats you is okay? So if her own father or another man treated her that way, that it's normal? No. Protect your daughter, take the job and leave that toxicity out of your life. I know it's easier said than done, but you will be much happier without that horrible man. His family probably already knows, and if they don't, it won't matter simply because he's a man. If she cheated, she would be shunned, but because it was him, she will be told it's her fault and that she failed as a wife. If she leaves, she will be shunned because anything that goes wrong in the marriage will be her fault, even though it's not. First of all, get that job. It's important for you to be able to provide for yourself and your daughter if you leave him. He is not fulfilling your rights as his wife, being intimate is one of them. Are you going to spend all your life like this? Don't. If you are not happy, you have every right to leave him. Yeah, but then also life can get worse for her if she does. It's not uncommon for the mother-in-law to become abusive verbally and physically. It's not uncommon for a woman to be berated by her father-in-law or other family members if they speak up. I've seen this happening in person. Instead of advocating for her to leave something she was forced into, you're telling her just to change her attitude in an already abusive situation. Next story 2. My husband was sleeping with his best friend when I was pregnant and he never told me. I know the title sounds weird, but let me explain. My husband dated his lifelong best friend for a few months and after a while they broke up. After their broke up, I ended up having a one-night stand with him and ended up pregnant. He decided to take care of me and our daughter, 8, but we weren't in a romantic relationship or anything like that, we just lived together because I needed help. And during that time this woman spent a lot of time with us and I honestly never cared because like I said, we weren't in a romantic relationship, we were only together for our daughter. After a few months we started an exclusive relationship, and this woman continued to be part of our lives, and that is what makes me feel bad now. Because I found out a few days ago that while I was pregnant he was sleeping with her, and it's not like he had to tell me that, it's just that now I can't stop thinking that maybe he continued sleeping with her even when our relationship was exclusive. My husband denies that anything happened between them when we started being exclusive. He says it was only a few encounters and that it stopped a few months before our daughter was born, but I don't know if I should believe him. When they graduated from college my husband and I got engaged, and a few weeks later we found out I was pregnant again with our second daughter, 6, and his ex-girlfriend, friend, or whatever, stopped talking to us. She moved to another city and we never heard from her again. We only heard from her again a few days ago when she invited my husband out for coffee. I was not invited, but my husband told me to go with him and I went, and it was the worst thing I could have done. Because at that time I discovered they slept together while I was pregnant. I don't know if I'm overreacting or not, but I feel terrible. My husband is sorry for not telling me sooner, but I don't see him that way anymore, and I know why. It's funny about that because we weren't. When it happened we weren't in an exclusive relationship, but we did sleep together and I felt like he should have told me somehow. Am I overthinking things or is my anger justified? Can a relationship survive like this? Comment. What I am interested in knowing is why this came up in conversation during their coffee with you at the table. Was this the BF who brought it up? Considering you weren't together at the time, does it matter? His friend has probably always wanted him and expected to end up together, and then he knocks up an 18-yo and she doesn't expect it to last, but then it does and she gets bitter and can't let go, so now she is trying to upset the apple cart. I think you are allowed to be hurt, but he didn't cheat. You two were not together and he probably didn't see her in a long-term way. You can sit on it and be a little sad, but you either forgive him for not telling you even if it would have upset you, especially with you just having the baby, or you leave this life you guys have that doesn't include her. I would suggest you two have a conversation about never seeing her again as a way to heal, but honestly I think as an outsider looking in, this is something the two of you can work through. He technically didn't cheat, yes. I very much sympathize with her feelings about him withholding relevant information. It might have been the difference between marriage and another baby for her. There was clearly malicious intent behind it. It's not like, oops, I forgot to tell you I was sleeping with the girl that was always hanging around us right before we were exclusive. You can be hurt. It's valid. You may not have been in an exclusive relationship, but he still slept with her and you. If she brought this up at the catch-up, She probably did it to hurt you. We women can be very nasty when we want to be. Talking to a third party to help guide your thoughts may be helpful. He didn't cheat, but he exposed you and you guys' baby to STDs and whatever she had when he didn't have to. That's pretty foul in my book. I just want to understand why he agreed to meet her? And why is he still in contact with her? Yeah, this is something that needed to be said before the relationship began. Most likely the ex didn't think it would last and realized she was wrong when the second baby came around. She knew she wasn't going to manage not being with him and left. Now she's back. She wanted to talk to him alone to see if he was truly happy and see if she could try to get him back if he's unhappy. She got mad you probably invited yourself and she said that shit to spite you. Demand marriage counseling to work on it, but make sure he know that you're not mad he slept with her. You're mad he didn't disclose the info before the exclusivity began. Tell him that you think she's still not over him and you would like for him to block her. And make sure during the counseling to let him know that if he's not happy and feels like he missed out on what could have been with her, that you want to save yourself the heartbreak of infidelity and are willing to amicably divorce.